Ladies and gentlemen, I am officially running for President of the United States. And
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Hope everyone is doing well. Tonight is Madness Monday, and we're going to have fun continuing the Mark Latunski saga. I'm joined by my special guest, Chandler Remington. What's up, Chandler?
Not much. How are you doing, Mighty Meat?
Oh, I'm doing great. This one, we started it last week. This guy is insane. And in the chat really seemed to be really engaged. So we had a lot of fun with it the first go through. So he is a gay man.
All right. Wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, from a small town in mid-Michigan. So he basically abuses and really gets into some crazy shit that he finds from Grindr, which is a gay dating app, gay sex app, whatever you want to call it.
I'm familiar.
So, okay. So yeah, he basically tortures his victims. The first week we listened to 2 911 calls from the victims that got away, and this is the one that he definitely he murdered them. He did eat some of their testicles.
Oh my.
Yeah, so he's a real piece of work.
A real piece of work. I like that.
So we're starting to get through the interrogation here, which is just an absolute gem. These police officers are mortified, and damn it. I feel for him, because this sitting across from crazy like this is a tough thing to do, and you can see it on their faces and in the way that they're talking to him. But yeah, it was a planned ritualistic killing. He was paid for it, to supposedly to kill this individual and fry him up and eat him. So.
And who paid him, pray tell?
So the victim paid his family, allegedly. So they made a sizable donation to his family, I guess. So he was paid for this ritualistic murder, and that's part of the way that he tried to get off from the crime, is saying it was a consensual murder and all this stuff. Like that's further down the pike, but yeah, this, like I said, this was an absolute gem, so we wanted to continue here. In the first episode, we got successfully through about 30 minutes of it, and it's 3 hours and 11 minutes long, so it's gonna be a minute. So I'm gonna go ahead and say hi to everybody, and then we'll get into it a little bit. Lovely Impish, good to see you. Tazzer, what's up, buddy? Blandris, good to see you, dude. Yes, I was 2 minutes early. I have a guest, so I was being nice. Normally I'm late.
That's very
they give me
courteous
shit.
of you.
Oh my god, he's early. I am early.
Early and heterosexual. Unlike our defendant here, who is apparently, if I was sitting across from him, is it too early for me to say? No, I have a really raunchy joke, but I'll end up telling it later. Just when you mentioned the testicles and we'll talk about it. We'll get into it as time goes on. Don't let me interrupt.
No, you're totally fine. My channel's a little bit more loose than most people's. Say whatever you want. I don't really care. As
I was
long
just
as
gonna
it's
say if I were sitting across from this guy, I'd be wondering if there were bits of balls in his beard. That's all.
there might be.
Just like a long beard. I'm just like knowing that this man ate testicles. I would just hope that was a clean beard, but very disturbing crime. Wow.
Yeah, that's why it's so intriguing. They arrested Hasbulla today. No, for what? That sucks, Deez. Do you know who Hasbulla is? He's this little person, and he was fighting in the UFC and stuff like that.
No, I'm not familiar.
He's funny. Cheers, mighty, 2 more mouthful of my pasta and meatballs. Oh, you mean it for real? Okay. I'm probably gonna stay out of that one because people that would crush me like a bug are very interested in it. But if Hayden, I think Hayden's gonna split that one with Jeff, and if that happens, then I would love to be just a little part of that one.
Yeah, that one's a really disturbing case. It's happening at the same time as the Sarah Boone trial. I'm considering covering that. I have not streamed a trial yet, so we'll see. But I was talking with David of MLS Law about it today, so we might split that possibly. I don't know. We'll talk about it. I know he wants to do it, so however it ends up being. But it's the same day. It's July 24th that starts.
Oh wow! Okay, so coming up. Yeah, that Shabusiness one should be an awesome trial. So, not as crazy as this one, but
not as. Are you serious? Not as crazy. His mother found his head and his dick in a bucket. I'm pretty sure.
Oh really?
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, she had sex with his corpse. It was pretty intense. So.
Huh.
A lot of meth going on with that one.
That's interesting.
It's intense. I'm curious to see. We'll take a look today, and then by the end of it, we'll know whether Shabusiness is more or less insane.
Yeah. So that sidetrack here. Do you think we're just hearing about it more, or do you think it's happening more? Are people losing their shit, or is it just, that we hear about people losing their shit? Because it seems like
it's Florida is one thing. And the thing about Florida is that they have these laws where they disclose a lot of cases more publicly to the media. Okay. So I think Florida is insane, but I think that if we had the same laws applied across the US, we might hear about more crazy cases like that one. I think Michigan also has similar laws. So there's a lot of weirdness out there.
Well, Wisconsin is making a run for the title lately with speaking of the tweet I received earlier, the Halderson thing. He definitely took a bite, by the way.
My namesake, another Chandler guy poor guy, just he was going to work at SpaceX, and it didn't really work out for him very well.
Right. Yeah. He was mildly delusional, and I still think his girlfriend had something to do with it. But you know what? It's done.
Oh, really?
Personally, she was just way too involved for me. But Tweety did say she could fix him.
Jacob Castro says, "I have a huge crush on Shabusiness. You are a glutton for punishment, my friend." That's really intense. Oh God, Did I say glutton? No, it's glutton versus glutton.
What's up, Jason? Good to see you. Light rain. No, Jacob, it's my fault. I was straight today, and
consensual murder. The whole consensual murder idea. I feel like that would be something in Australia. We should ask Hayden about that because they definitely have consensual combat, like consensual assault. That is a law in Australia.
Okay.
Where if two people agree to fight each other, that like there's not going to be any charges pressed. So I'd be interested. Consensual murder. I believe that was also Armin Mue's defense in a similar cannibal case. Do you know about that one?
No. Is that the German one or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It happened in the early days of the internet, And I believe that he read some Star Trek book to this guy while he was bleeding out in his bathtub while he cooked his dick on the, on the stovetop. He said it didn't taste very good, so he ended up discarding it.
Wow, what a waste!
And he was just like, well, we talked about it on a forum, and he wanted to die that way.
Yeah,
it's an interesting argument for sure.
Right. I mean, that's a liberty argument. If that's the way you want to do things, then go for it. So as long as it's consensual and you could prove it's consensual, I don't know that there's a huge issue with it personally, but
Well, then you get into whether the person who consented to being killed was, under duress, or if they had a mental defect or some kind of insanity circumstance, in which case that would be a little different. But
right.
We will learn as we watch more of this interrogation.
Yeah, for sure. What's up, Jude? Yeah, he's a midget Jew that's terrified of puppies. Hezbollah.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, cocks and buckets, heads decapitated.
Mm-hmm.
Jacob, you are starting to concern me. He's way too interested in this case. He's into business. I don't know, man.
I guess if you're into crazy, I mean, she's definitely got that going on. She attacked her attorney in court, I'm pretty sure. Which led to a delay in the trial, which I think was very intentional on her part, very strategic. Oh, yeah. I think she absolutely had presence of mind to do that.
Yeah, it looked like it was kind of staged. Like, hey, I'm going to do this so I can, 1, get attention, and 2, get it delayed a little bit. So, hey, what's up, Barb? Oh, Detroit Airport. Detroit Airport can be terrible.
Barbara, hey.
Dog Mama, good to see you. Well, that was that big thing with Kevorkian, whether it was,
right,
legal or not. I think that, again, it's a liberty argument. If you have the presence of mind and can do so, in a clear state of mind, I think you should be able to do that. But it's just my personal. But Mighty or Kaiser or Shizzy, it's definitely Mighty. Like this, this trial. What? All right. No, it was not too cheesy. It's never too cheesy.
Well, the liberty argument you bring up would be interesting to discuss. I'm looking forward to talking about that with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have some thoughts on that for sure.
I'm a very, very staunch on my, if you're not harming someone else, then do whatever the hell you want. But yeah, we can get into that for sure. And then we have Azel over on Rumble, and I know who you are over on YouTube, but I can't remember. Princess. It's something Princess, I believe. So we have some Rumble viewers over there. That's what I'm saying. All right. So we'll get into this, and, we'll stop every once in a while, as we usually do. So I went back a little bit, like 30 seconds. So we'll hear the narrator a little bit too. So
sounds good.
I says, then I'll step back. I says, you need to decide. You need to decide, because I'm not going to force you.
Even the detectives are confused about how the supposed trust fund.
So here's the trust fund they're talking about.
Latunski attempts to explain that he was going to do something for the family of the victim, but what that is, he never really makes it clear.
Okay, so you meet him in Swartz Creek.
I met him in Swartz Creek.
On what day?
Well, that would be the 24th.
Okay, on 12/24, Christmas Eve. Okay.
It was Christmas Eve.
And then,
was that the first time that you've ever met him in person?
That was the first time I'd ever met him. I had chatted with him, so I had a tremendous amount of detail of what he was looking for. Only what he was looking for.
So you're trying to help him.
What?
You were trying to help them.
Well,
System.
in that regard, I took everything that I had to set it up, and I put it into a bag. I laid it out in the trunk so that it was there in the back of the van. And then I got in the front, and I said, you decide. And at that point, he says, I make my decisions. I said, well, I said, take and, put on the different gear that you wanted, that he'd selected. He'd taken some and said, no, not this one, he picked it all out. He wanted to make sure that he was comfortable, and that he was.
They keep blocking out the other victims' names.
And without going up, I don't want to have the details on any record. It doesn't need to be there. What he wants is what he wants is what he wants. Sure. But at that point, I said, you know what? I'm not going to put these on you. I says, take what you have, take it off, put it in this bag. And he says, you know what? Can I text a friend and say, you know what? I'm just gonna be out, and whatever we blabbered about. And I say blabbered just because I said, you know what? You say whatever you want to say. And he says, okay, now that I've said it, I'm gonna turn my phone off. Okay.
That was all at the parking lot?
That was all still in the parking lot.
Okay. Do you know what store? Is it parking lot?
No, it was just a parking lot there on Grand River or it's not Grand River, Miller Road in Swartz Creek. And I said, if you're ready, I said, if you're.
Wait, so he picked Jacob, you might have to translate for me. So he picked him up in a random parking lot and had him. I'm lost already. I'm lost, Jacob. You're gonna have to fill me in, buddy. So it sounds like he.
I second that. It's a little quiet as well. It's hard to hear exactly what he's saying.
Yeah, the audio sucks at times, but
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
I'm turned up as much as I can be so I can hear everything.
Hopefully that makes it a little bit better. In his defense, anyone with the name Kevin Bacon. Oh yeah, the victim is Kevin Bacon.
I did know that part.
Yeah. And one of the articles we read to kick it off said they noticed when Bacon was missing for breakfast, and I don't think they did it intentionally, but that's what the news article said. So
if I say that's tasteless, is that a bad pun? I feel like somebody needs to make a 6 degrees of separation joke, but
what's up, KLI? So yeah, so it sounded like he just picked them up for a random encounter, which I guess is not the craziest thing that could happen, but I don't know. It's
so weird to me the similarities between this case and the Armin Miwa's case, because it's like they're both gay guys, and it was both like the sort of like the consensual cannibalism argument. It's really fascinating.
Right.
I'd like to see there's documentation of that consensual nature, that this guy really, was into this idea.
Yeah, well, supposedly there's this two-way trust set up, and he's getting paid, and then the trust goes to. I mean, this is a
sounds convoluted, very convoluted.
Right. So this guy is like, I'm just waiting for the alien spaceships to come down. Okay, so bacon and sausage, absolutely. The victim was putting on whatever he wanted from this guy's van. That's what I got out of it too. So he just has like a dressing room with
Was there like some cross-dressing going on? This reminds me of like Silence of the Lambs, Buffalo Bill kind of thing.
Yeah, I'll show you.
Oh, we got everything.
Oh, we got everything.
We've got bacon, we've got sausage, we've got the full English. Oh man.
This guy was, this guy is something else. I don't
Skirt
remember.
steak? No.
No, he wears a. So we went through this whole. Is that a skirt that he's wearing? Is it like a kilt?
Oh, that's a funny coincidence that I just like came off the top of my head.
Shit. Somebody send me that picture because I know I have it someplace. Oh, there it is. Never mind. I found it. Hang on. I gotta figure out where the hell I just saved it to. There it is. I had it up last week and then I should have just saved it, but all right. So blah blah blah. Nice to meet you. Stop it, Jacob. So this is our man. This is his kind of attire.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
It's like a Scottish Buffy the Vampire Slayer kind of get up.
Yeah.
Looks like something from the Lost Boys, like Kiefer Sutherland. I kind of love it.
Beard braid thing going on.
He looks like he's going to Comic-Con.
Yeah, I guess that would be. This is another one of his choices of outfit here.
It's less fruity than I thought it would be. The leather makes it more, manly, I guess. He's got that whole leather daddy thing going on.
Yeah, he's definitely more.
I don't love it with the shirt. I feel like it's just not outfit wise. Well, first of all, the shirt is too loose. It needs to be more fitted. And second of all, the button down, it just doesn't really work with the leather. You need more of like a corset kind of thing, something a little lacy. I just feel like this is business on the top, party on the bottom, but it's not gonna fly when you're going into like, the gothic arsehole or whatever that, like the leather bar from Arrested Development.
I am so happy I brought you on. We have a great gay fashion sense going on right now. So I could smell that picture and it ain't good. Yeah, I get the masculine
outfit. Get up better. It was just the first outfit was much better. That's all.
Yeah, I could see that. He definitely gives off gay to me though.
You want to be shirtless if you're eating somebody's balls.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a little more, because otherwise you're gonna have to do laundry. It's gonna be a whole thing.
Yeah. Oh, I get that. Cannibal fashion advice.
Leather, it's more what's the word, hydrophobic, and so if you get like just the remnants of whatever that all is, it's much easier to clean off.
It's a free dick swinging outfit, Chandler. What more can you ask for? Damn it, JSDs. And I'm starting to think you and Jacob have something in common, Chandler. So.
Oh yeah, what would that be?
You both know way too much about this.
So my mom does resale, and so I know a lot about clothing.
Okay.
And so I happen to have some knowledge about stuff like that. So it just comes up. Anytime any kind of fabric comes up, like during the Murdoch trial, we were talking about like the raincoat and just any, like, sometimes clothing will come up as like an aspect of evidence, and it's just something I happen to know about. So
gotcha.
That's all. It's a random. I randomly know a lot about textiles, so take that for whatever it is. And like also like styling and outfit choices, stuff like that. I've been immersed in it my whole life. So
gotcha. Okay, that's reasonable. And that shitty little armband tattoo. Yeah. I
don't know what he's wearing this interrogation. I do like the olive and the plum together though, but the beard, not so big a fan. I'd like to see what shoes he's wearing with this.
He's got the beard. He's got these like weird braids. I think skirt won last week. Like they're pretty convinced it's a skirt, but then we got into skirts don't have pockets, and like it was this big debate for like half an hour whether this was a skirt or a kilt.
It could be a cargo pocket kind of skirt. It looks like it looks like army drab, like it looks like, like olive drab.
Mhm.
So you could have like a cargo pant pocket kind of thing that he could have maybe let out to create a skirt. I mean, if it could have been shorts that he turned it, I don't know. I'm really curious. I want to see him stand up.
I do too. A mert.
Because
It's a
nothing of
mert.
what he's saying is making any sense. It's all schizophrenic, word soup, word salad, so to speak.
Oh,
But
it gets better.
I'm just here for like the outfit, which is not what I was expecting coming off for a cannibal trial.
Sewing was what broke the Silence of the Lambs case wide open. Oh, okay.
Well, not to turn this into Project Runway, but should we? Do you want to keep going? I don't want to I don't mean to take over with my whole, like Heidi
Oh, no.
Klum
I mean,
nonsense.
I appreciate whatever you have to say about it. Like, I don't care. We're just chilling and listening to a crazy man speak. And Mark. So.
This is a fun one.
Yeah. No, cereal's not soup. God damn it.
Is a hot dog a sandwich? I think Ruth Bader Ginsburg weighed in on that.
No,
I think she
it's
said that
not
it was. She said Ruth Bader Ginsburg of RBG, of course, said that a hot dog was a sandwich. In which case, I just have to go contrary to RBG.
It's not a sandwich.
It's not. It's absolutely not a
dog.
sandwich. It's exactly. It's a hot dog.
Yeah.
Whole other thing.
All right, back to it.
You're doing this, then you put the stuff on. And then, so I sat in the front while
You're going to get
he
banned.
did all of that.
So you're in the front of your vehicle.
I was in the front of my vehicle.
What kind of vehicle do you have?
It's a van. It's a Hyundai Santa Fe. Okay, great.
All right.
So I sat in the front, and he went in the back. He got all ready, and I said, look, this way you're leaving everything behind, and it's like, done. And then at that point he says, okay, I'm ready. I went around and I shut the trunk, and then I put, he gave me the key so that I could lock the car. I put his bag in the back. I locked the car.
You locked his vehicle?
I locked his vehicle.
So his stuff is in his vehicle.
His stuff was in his vehicle.
And then does he stay in the back of your van?
And he stayed in the back of my van.
Okay, and then you leave the
Fucking weird.
parking lot.
And then I left the parking lot.
Okay.
And then we went back to the house.
Do you know what you did with the keys for the car?
The keys were see, he had the keys at first. He gave them to me.
Okay, let's just minor details, just curious.
I don't know.
I appreciate it.
But in any case, we went back to the house.
It seems odd that he had
You're right,
to
you're right.
change his clothes in the van if they were only going to be going to the house anyway. But the process seems perfectly logical to Latunski.
So Mark, again, one, JSD is spot on. Two, Mark Latunski is like, he's still to the point where he doesn't think he did anything wrong, and he's so delusional that he still has no idea that he's going to prison for the rest of his life. Like, he's just like, yeah, I had him change his clothes, and then we had sex, and I ate his testicle. Like, what the fuck?
Well, at least he's honest, I guess.
I mean,
honesty is the best policy if you're a cannibal. He has a very flat affect, which is, I mean, typical of schizophrenia. It's like, it's very clear that he has that going on.
yeah, he just, there's just like nothing shocking to him. So I don't know, but
He's unashamed entirely.
yeah.
He has no sense of deception, which is helpful for the prosecution, but it's not going to be great for him in the end.
Right. Well, yeah, he's totally screwed with this human fries. God damn. Why are we doing all these? Why? Okay, so I can agree with the cucumber one. Bees are not fish. Pineapple does belong on pizza. Love is love.
I mean, forget pineapple. I don't know if you've heard Nicholas talk about what they do, what their Hawaiian pizza is in Sweden. They put curry powder, pineapple, ham, and bananas.
No, I'm out.
Which is just a crime, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And he's having like a special stream coming up where it's like an Ask Me Anything, and people are asking him things about labor law. And I'm just like, have you eaten the pineapple banana pizza? And what was it like? That's all
gross.
I want to know. It is bizarre.
I don't think I could do banana on a pizza.
No,
ever.
it's offensive to all of my sensibilities.
and we're gonna just keep going further and further down this track. I'm sorry. Human ribs are greater than pork and beef ribs.
Chat is running the stream.
Yeah, they usually do. I just am here to push the buttons. So, but oysters are mammals. No, they're not. Damn it. Oh, you were talking about what Mark ate. Okay, reasonable.
That's fair. That's on topic, at least.
I went through the. Okay. Which is just
I wish they wouldn't do that, but for whatever reason, they don't want to release the names of the kind of innocent family members and shit like that. So, what's up, Josh Chandler? Meet Chandler Remington.
Oh, hey.
able to look.
Your last name is my first name.
You have to look at this and say, one, because involving lots of different people, that it then gets a little precarious. But in any case, going through all of that and working through it, it was finally, at the, I'm going to say, end of the evening or the beginning of the next morning, it was that time frame that finally, and we've talked about, several things. What was I going to do? And part of it was the process of turning, that what for.
Stop cutting out the. I also think it's interesting that the prosecutors haven't asked him a question in like 20 minutes. He's just telling it all.
Turning them into something that would grow tulips for his family. He says, but my family will never know that it's me. I says, no. Tulips are starvation food. They'll know that they'll have tulips. They'll know that. Do you want them to know that that's something that you're giving them? He says, no, it's not something that I want them to know. Is this something that you want them to know? And he says, no, it's not something I want them to know. I said, so if we can just make this, then he says,
No, Jason. He's talking a lot more about the family this time. He didn't do that as much as the first half of it there.
you know what, and talking about this, I mean, I've never done this, I know I've never done this before.
Okay, so what did you do?
And, well, after talking to him in multiple ways, that was when he, I says, well, I I could slit your throat. Here's the knife. I could do it that way. And I couldn't do it. I says, I don't know if that would be painless. And
No, it would hurt like a bitch.
And we debated it, all of the different ways. I said, I have a sword upstairs, but it still just wouldn't work. I was afraid I would hurt him. And he
I'm afraid I would hurt.
I'm not ready.
Wait a minute, psychopath. I'm afraid I would hurt him? You're killing the man by slitting his throat. You're afraid you would hurt him. Like, I get the painless and you're trying to make it, blah, blah, blah. But if basically any way that you kill a person, it's not going to be comfortable. Like, I guess there are some ways, but.
Well, what that indicates to me is that he was very aware that if he did what he was going to do, that it would hurt him or harm him. That shows intent. That shows evidence of awareness of wrongdoing. And so I'm not sure if this guy pled insanity, but to me, what that indicates is that he knew that he would hurt or harm the victim. So it pretty much knocks the idea of an insanity defense completely out of the defense.
And that's always been an interesting thing, because I feel like anybody who commits a crime like this is reasonably insane. Like, these are not normal people. Yeah, and Barb, he's absolutely crazy. Like, and I agree with that. So,
but see, the problem is that you think that they're insane. They could have insanity, but they could be fully aware of what they're doing. And so what matters is, does this person have mens rea? Do they have actus reus? Can they form intent? And do they know that what they're doing is wrong? There are two different tests for insanity. One of them is, can this person distinguish right from wrong? And the other one, I believe, is, can this person reasonably have anticipated that their actions would have resulted in harm and been aware of what that harm was? And so if he's saying, I was worried about hurting him, to me, that's the moment that you point to in the court and you say, this man knew exactly what he was doing.
Gotcha. Okay. So he had the requisite intent. He knew.
He had hesitation.
Yeah.
He hesitated.
Right. And he chose a different method of killing. So, but yeah, no, that's interesting, because I've never really got into it, but you look at some of these people and they haven't got insanity defenses or whatever. And I know it's not a get out of jail free card, but some of them you're like, damn, maybe they should have. But
well, here's the thing: the problem with an insanity defense. So it's called an NGRI plea, not guilty by reason of insanity. Those defenses succeed in when I learned it in my paralegal program during our criminal law module. It's 0.013% of NGRI pleas results in an acquittal. Wow. So it is not a very successful defense. Today, we watched it in the Letitia Stout trial. She tried an NGRI plea. She was sentenced to life in prison for murder. Wow. It is not a successful defense. You have to have a lot of evidence that most cases just don't really have. And unfortunately, there are some cases where people really are insane and they really do deserve that defense, but their defense attorneys are not adequately representing them. So it's a challenge. But there's a difference between being insane to the point where you don't know what you're doing and being insane while also being cognizant of the harms that you're causing.
Okay. Not to put you on the spot or anything, but do you happen to know any that actually were successful right off top, or
of a not guilty by reason of insanity plea?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, that's a very good question, and I'm trying to recall. I know unsuccessful cases. I know the Richard Chase case, the Vampire of San Francisco. That one was unsuccessful.
Okay.
Because the thing, like, I'm trying to think if anybody in chat knows. I can look this up while we're getting into more of the interview. But it's rare for a reason. There was one, Andrea Yates.
Oh, okay.
Andrea Yates drowned her 5 children in the bathtub. And I believe that she was found not guilty by reason of insanity. She was significantly mentally impaired. I could be wrong on this one. I'm pretty sure that they sent her to a mental institution instead of sentencing her to prison, but I could be incorrect. I will look that one up.
Okay. And also, sorry, I'm just bombarding you. Tell me to stop at
No,
any point.
totally. And no, I'm happy to answer any question.
So, with a gentleman like this, throwing him in prison, you're not going to get any, like, he's not going to become reformed. And if he gets out on parole, like, he's still going to be a crazy bastard. So, what is the sense in keeping him in prison and not going the treatment route? I think treatment would be more effective than just locking him away. And I understand they get treatment in prison, but it's nowhere as intensive as it could have been otherwise.
Well, that's a great question. It's a significant problem with sentencing because you have these people who are very mentally unwell, and in order to achieve justice for the victim, you want to be sure that you are not excusing away their actions by saying, "Oh, he's crazy, he can't help it." It is a lighter sentence, and the state hospitals, they're very iffy. Some of them provide good treatment, but a lot of them, I don't know if it's a better place for somebody like this to be in. But the question, I guess, is, well, there are a lot of questions that you can ask. You can ask, how does this affect the prison population? How much of a danger is this man to the prison population? What is his sentence going to be like? Will he be in solitary confinement? Would he be better off in a state hospital? What's the prognosis for somebody like this? What's the outcome going to be? And that's more of a sociological question, I think, that's maybe even more theological, because we could get into, I'm sure you have opinions on that, but like, you have a guy like this, what are we doing? We're taking him out of polite society. We're keeping him from being a danger to the population. We're getting justice for the victim. And then what are we doing for him? Is there any rehabilitation possible? I don't know. That's a good question. He needs to be evaluated, obviously, and I'm sure that his mental health was put at issue. So I'm sure that he had some kind of mental evaluation that was used during the trial.
Yeah. And so I think that there's definitely. So we talk about reforming, and I think it's a load of bullshit, frankly, because reform and rehabilitation, because that's not the focus. You have a lot of offenders that once you've been to prison, you offend again at alarming rates.
Right. That's called recidivism. When somebody gets out of jail, they reoffend and they're readmitted.
Yeah. Okay. And it's because we make it nearly impossible for them. You can't get a job. You can't do this. You can't do like. What are you going to go back to? You're going to go back to selling drugs on the street, and
life on the inside can be easier for people like that. They know the system. A lot of them, they'll become homeless. It gives them a warm bed, a warm meal, just a roof over their head.
Right. So it's like, there's almost certainly a better way to do it. I'm not in it deep enough to know what that way is, but I certainly think that there's a better way that we can handle things like this. And I think we do a poor job with prison population in general. I'm actually against, I think prison should be a life. We talked about this, I think, last week with a different guest on a different show. I think prison should be, you are sentenced to life in prison if your felony crime is enough to warrant prison time, because if not, why the hell are you there? And we've expanded the definition of felony to so many things that it never should have been. So that's just my personal. Once you're there, I think you should stay there. If you're, I don't think that a 2-year term or a 5-year term, you're not any better on the other side. So, in large part, so
it certainly depends. But that's an argument that I would be really interested to hear more of your take on that.
Yeah, and I mean, we can get into it now if you want, or we can continue with this. It's up to you. But
well, it is your stream, so
I'm pretty easygoing. So I think that there's just I think that the punishment system is obviously driven by how much money that the private prisons can get off people, and we see the incarceration rates going up. I think once you are deemed to have to be separated from polite society, from general society to that kind of degree, then you shouldn't ever get out. I think that you're almost a defective person at that point, and I know that that term finds its roots in the insane asylums and that kind of stuff. But I think that I don't think that you're ever going to be a functioning member of society, and the chance is so small that it's probably not going to happen. There are some cases that get out, but I think once you're a risk to society, then you should be put away forever. I mean, I think that we shouldn't punish low level, especially in the prison system. If you want to do 30, 90 days in jail, something like that, I can see that. But drug charges, nonviolent crimes, that kind of stuff, I just don't feel like they should be felonies. That you should be placed in, a prison system for a shortened time, because you're worse on the other side of it. So.
Well, I hear that. I mean, the prison industrial complex is definitely a thing. In America, we have an enormous prisoner population. The U.S. is definitely, the government is making money off of it to an obscene degree, especially the private prison system, as you mentioned. The sentencing laws are nuanced and complex, and so you have civil and then you have criminal. You have, obviously, when we're talking about felonies, that's a serious thing. It's something that I want to learn more about and read more about. I've studied it in a limited sense, but I think that there are a lot of crimes that people should not be in prison for, and I think that there are a lot of crimes that people should have longer sentences for, and I think people get obscenely short sentences for certain kinds of crimes when they should be in prison for much longer. So I think we have a lot of points of agreement. Okay,
yeah, and obviously the essay or grape, I think should be a punishable crime in that felony prison lifetime sentence. Also violent crimes like murder, obviously. I think that one's a given.
Sure. Any type of violent crime. With SA, it's not. There are not very many convictions, unfortunately, because it can be very difficult to prove. Murder is a little more easy to prove.
Yeah, and that's the thing. People think, that every person that commits a murder, and I shouldn't say everybody. I think a large volume of people think that, well, every crime that's committed, every murder that's committed, there's going to be some kind of you're going to prison for life, and there are so many that are unsolved, or so many that are just not punished, or whatever the case is. They can't find the person, or it's not a given somebody dies in a homicide that they're going to find the person, prosecute the person. Like it's really quite an in-depth process to get to that point. Like all these things have to fall into line to make it so that this person is now in prison. So I don't know. I don't think
definitely prosecutors have a very tough job.
Right. And the police and the that sort of thing, especially in a city like Detroit.
It's an expensive endeavor. It costs a lot of money.
Right. And there's just not enough people to
especially
do it.
In a high-profile case.
Yeah, and the
system is broken. A lot of the systems are. I mean, show me one city that's running its police force very well, where they have a low recidivism rate, a high conviction rate with very little turnarounds. False convictions are very low. I mean, it doesn't exist.
Right. Yeah, it's a mess, and
the American legal system is there's a disconnect, and there's a lot, especially with the whole for-profit prison system thing, with meeting quotas. I mean, there are a lot of systemic elements that feed into why it's broken. I'm not educated on all of them, but it's something that it'd be really interesting to learn more about that.
Yeah, for sure, and it's one of those things where you see a direct correlation with poverty status and things of that nature as well. If you have money, you can often, well, not if you're Murdoch, but most people can get out of it, or get some kind of reduction. If you're a poor offender, then you're kind of screwed. Like, in all reality, you can't afford the expensive defense team, and there are some instances where there are great public defenders, like one.
But it's a
Mr.
lottery.
Gosney.
It's a
Right.
it's a mixed bag.
Right. You get just as many of the people who don't care and are just punching a time clock as the Steves of the world that really pour it all in.
He's definitely serving the Daytona area in an excellent way. I'm looking forward to potentially, he offered me an internship in Daytona, so that'll be after my first year of law school. So I would love to be a part of that. I'm sure there'll be really interesting cases to try in Florida, especially in civil.
Yeah.
But I think he does civil and criminal, so that'll be really interesting. Gosney's great. He's I've seen some of the cases in just like in the media that he's talked about, that he's tried, and the man's a genius. So he's fantastic.
A fantastic guy. And he has a great family. I got the opportunity. We vacationed down to Daytona, and I had the opportunity to go out to dinner with him and his family, and
that's
my
amazing.
family. So
that is so cool. I didn't know that you were friends with Gosney too. That's really awesome. I love his presence in the community.
Yeah, he's very good in his community, in his own element. He was even more loved than he tries to say. But do you know how many Latinas are going to be locked up and strippers? Who else would? God damn it, these. Yeah, because that's what it's for, is paying for college always. Documentary canceled because they're trying to prove that people like him could be rehabilitated. I think there is a way to really rehabilitate people. Even like this, we're certainly not doing it. It would be cheaper to lock up all the sane people, less brick and mortar. Mark Twain. I agree with that. What else do we got?
I'm going to address my statistics here. So my understanding is that the NGRI plea, not guilty by reason of insanity, is tried in less than 1% of cases.
Okay.
However, when it is tried, it has a 26% success rate.
Wow. Okay.
So that's,
Yeah.
That is different than the statistic. It's funny, I've been quoting this statistic that I learned in my paralegal program, and I'm like, that's very different. I feel like maybe that was perhaps more pertinent specifically to California law. Or I could have just remembered it wrong, but I like to clarify if I find more accurate statistics.
Okay.
So that does change things, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
However, it was not successful in Letitia Stauch's case today.
Okay.
And rightly so, because she admitted to murdering an 11-year-old, so she deserves to rot in hell.
Yeah. No, I agree.
If hell exists. I mean, I'm Jewish, we don't believe in hell, but if there is a hell, she so
I keep forgetting that you're Jewish.
Yeah, no, it's funny. It's like whenever I mention it, like I don't know why the whole concept comes up. It's like I was recently having a conversation with somebody who was like, yeah, no, we don't believe in hell. It's one of the perks of Judaism. So, you don't have that whole and I have a lot of friends who are Catholic, and they have that whole Catholic guilt kind of thing. And I'm just like, oh, thank God we avoided that. We have a lot of guilt, but it comes from other places. So
that's so funny.
And that built-in anxiety and stuff. So I mean, that's probably why we make good attorneys, because we're just super paranoid about everything.
Right. Oh, that's funny.
We're an anxious bunch, but we're good at what we
do. I'm with Kata. Government is too incompetent to serve the death penalty. I was speaking of Steve and Nick. I was very pro death penalty. I thought people certainly deserved to be put to death. And as we get further down this track, and I get further educated on different things, I don't trust the government to do anything like that. I don't agree with them having the power to end somebody's life or lock them away for life. I think we need to figure out a better system for doing things, because it just doesn't seem right. And call it jaded because of some of the recent trials with different individuals that we've all seen and been privy to, and it seems like they're getting more and more incompetent, and that's terrifying. So
it's very scary, especially the idea of a wrongful conviction. I know that Steve has said that he was like 60% pro death penalty, and now he's staunchly against it. And he's he's working really hard there's this whole like thing with DeSantis in Florida now where like DeSantis is bringing up this death penalty stuff, and he's actually fighting against it, which is it's interesting because he's like, I like DeSantis, but this is one thing we really disagree on. And I mean, there are definitely some really evil people who've done some evil, horrible things, and are convicted correctly, but it is extremely expensive to execute somebody, and those people are on death row for years, putting in appeals. It just costs so much money. It costs so much more money.
Right.
And, that's a tough one. It's like, the abortion thing, the death penalty thing. I mean, you're never going to have it settled. There are always going to be people. It's a very polarizing issue.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Kaiser Pineapple is in the chat. Hey, Kaiser, what's up?
Yeah, I was headed to him next. What's up, Kaiser? Are you doing your game stream or? Respectfully, how do you know someone is Jewish? They will tell you.
Yeah, that's true. That's totally true. I probably mention it too much. I'm just like, Chandler, why is this relevant? Like, stop. I'm proud of it though. I can't. I mean, I'm not like, I didn't even have a bat mitzvah. So, I mean, but my mom is Jewish. So I am a member of the tribe. But no, Light Rain, you're totally right. and we deserve that. That kind of rousing.
They still do deserve it, but you have to be 100% certain, which is near impossible, but still able to prove. Yeah, and I think that there has to be a higher bar for certain things, because we just can't. We're no better than them if we just go around ending people's lives. Like, life is something that should be cherished. And we had this conversation yesterday when, we are way off track, but you know what? We'll deal with it. We had this conversation yesterday with I don't know if you saw the person in Brownsville that ran over the migrants and killed, I believe, 7.
I saw the video, unfortunately, which was very graphic. Can't really get that out of my head.
Yeah, very graphic. But
was that I mixed them up because there were those 2 attacks. The one guy was Hispanic but a white supremacist, and he had a bunch of Nazi tattoos, and then there was the other guy. I don't know who did what. There was a shooting, and there was the other thing.
Yeah, so they're both supposedly, according to the media, were white supremacists, but both very Hispanic. One was
weird,
pro-Nazi, and one was he was a Mexican gang member.
Okay.
So the gentleman who ran people over, but we were having a conversation about, well, they shouldn't be here in the first place, blah, blah, blah. And I said, a life is still a life, even if, I mean, all lives are sacred and should be treated as such. And anybody who perishes in any senseless manner, I think we should take the time to, recognize that. And you may not agree that, oh, they shouldn't be here, but they're still humans, and we should care about other lives and being lost everywhere, from Chicago to, the Middle East to Texas and Mexico. Like, anywhere where a life is lost, it's tragic. It really is.
I agree.
That's just kind of I know I get pushback on that, but.
Well, it ties back into what we're talking about with the death penalty. I mean, even these people who are murderers, it's like how you treat other people reflects on you, not on them. And I remember, the author William Burroughs, who wrote Naked Lunch, he was staunchly against the death penalty, and he said that he didn't believe that the government should have the power to take away people's lives, that it shouldn't be up to the state to decide whether somebody gets to live or die. Maybe some people don't deserve to live, but it shouldn't be the state's decision, and I agree with that. Just from the, I mean, I'm actually like secretly an anarchist. Like most people don't know this about me, but like I'm very like against the government. It just kind of goes like, like it's from when I was a kid. I had this boyfriend who was like a conspiracy theorist when I was like 16, and like when I got into all this stuff, I'm still an anarchist, even though I don't believe in lizard people anymore, or like the New World Order necessarily. I'm a little iffy on some of that, but I agree. I think the government is way too involved in people's bodies, in people's lives. The whole vax thing, I was like very against government mandated vaccines, even though I got the vaccine, because I'm just like, I have a libertarian stance on that sort of thing. So, I mean, I didn't expect this to go in a political direction, but I agree. Like, I just think in general, what you're saying, life is sacred, no matter what you think of the person. Nobody should be deciding that this person dies by my hand.
Right. Yeah, Jacob's in love now because anarchy.
Anarchy, woo! I'm a punk. Like I was really into punk music when I was a kid, and I still am. I love punk music, and I'm just like I'm a secret anarchist, even though I want to be a lawyer. So that's an interesting combo.
It happens. Yeah, I'm also, that's probably why we get along, Chandler, because I'm secret anarchist,
baby,
but
I'm an anarchist. You're a spineless liberal. Sorry, I had to.
You're fine. And it's one of those things where you say anarchist and people get the wrong. And we had, I think one of my earlier shows, we had a debate over whether anarchism works, and
well, that's a whole other thing.
right. But it was interesting. But yeah, I'm on the same path. Stay out of my life. Let me do what I want to do, and blah blah blah. Small
Anti-government
libertarian.
interference.
Right. The government's way too big, and yeah, exactly. I just want the government to stay out of the heck out of my business and leave me alone. Absolutely.
And I think all Americans have the right to that and should deserve the right to that.
Right. Absolutely. Because government's meant to protect us, not infringe on us. But
there's a big difference between an anarchist on the left and an anarchist on the right.
Yeah.
I've moved from the left to the right, but I've kept my my anarchy intact. So
yeah, it's much better over here. Glad to have you. So.
Well, thanks for having me.
All right, we are going to try and get back over onto the other side and not get too deep political.
Totally my fault. I take responsibility.
No, this is my normal stream. Just way off left field. Don't know where the hell I'm going, but
as long as everybody's having a good time.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Now back to this guy with possibly bits of balls in his beard.
Yes, ball beard.
I couldn't do that. I couldn't run the risk of maiming him and having him suffer. And after we debated it, I said, you know what? I think that given what we've got right here, if I just that will do it. I was, not really, and finally.
God, I wish they would stop.
And I did, and he says,
I get it, protecting the names of the innocent, but
I'm on the back side because he's laying on the floor, and it would be across the room, and he had his head facing it would be the east wall. And so when I went in, you obviously have on the picture there's the spray that went to the left, and it's like that, and he says,
he's proud of his work.
Yeah. And there was a fair amount of blood, and then it's like
Yeah, I tend to agree. And his posture is so open.
Yeah.
and honest. It looks like he's talking about like some guy who cut him off in traffic and why he honked.
Looks like he's talking about like dinner that he made, like ice cream. Like he's like, I got the caramel and then I put sprinkles on it, and
to complete what I told him I would do.
Yeah, the most he's apologizing for why the Ossabuco was taking too long.
Something that would produce life.
Oh God.
And that's what I was in the process of doing.
Where's the knife now?
It is upstairs in, because I cleaned it off, and it is upstairs in the dresser drawer. I think on the right-hand side.
God damn it, Jacob.
I love your chat.
Is it a bedroom? Someone's bedroom or your bedroom?
Yeah.
So it's
Your guys' bedroom?
No. I put it up in my bedroom.
Oh, your bedroom.
Just because, I mean, I had, again, knowing at least the bits and pieces of the conversations that we've had over periods of time,
what does the knife look like?
What's it look like?
Yeah, is it like a kitchen knife? Is it, you know what I'm saying?
No, it's just a hunter's knife.
It's a hunter's knife. What color is it?
It has a black blade. I actually,
Hey, you.
Shit.
I know it's a weird question, but
it is.
I won't pay YouTube for YouTube Premium, so fuck YouTube. Couple real quick while we're question: if Jews don't believe in hell, what do they believe in instead of it? From Jews.
Just being tremendously anxious all the time.
I think it's like purgatory, isn't it? Like you're just kind of stuck.
I didn't really go to Hebrew school, so I couldn't tell you. We're very reformed. Like I didn't have a bat mitzvah or anything, so I know we don't believe in hell. That's the one thing I do know. I don't know. Maybe hell is here on earth. Maybe I don't know. We're taught to question God. We're not supposed. It's like a whole thing. It's just a little different.
Yeah.
We just don't have. I don't think we have anything instead of hell. We just don't have it.
And Jason J., my grandfather raped and murdered a 9-year-old in Ionia, Michigan in 1966. And the state of Michigan released him in 1970. 4 years? Holy shit. And he raped and murdered a 13-year-old girl in White Cloud, Michigan.
Yeah,
Wow.
So that really goes to what you're talking about how people should maybe stay in prison if they've done something violent.
Right. And
committed a felony.
Right. 4 years in prison for rape and murder of a 9-year-old. That's a little light.
Yeah, that's on Ionia, Michigan. That poor 13-year-old, she could have lived.
Right.
That's horrifying. It's very sad.
Right.
And a terrible legacy. I can't imagine knowing that about your family member and having to, just live with that. I'm very sorry.
Right. Yeah, I mean that's got to be rough to come to grips with, and you feel sorry for the victims, but it's also your grandfather. I mean, shit. So, damn.
Quite difficult.
A resident Jew says eternal purgatory.
Is that it? Maybe.
That's what
like I said, I didn't go to Hebrew school, so you could be right about that.
So I've been bouncing around. Well, that's your fault. Is Chandler Jewish too? Yes.
Do people not know this? I thought I was like, I thought everybody knew. Yes.
I thought you guys just had Judar and you knew other Jews, but
we can sense each other. Yeah.
Apparently not, Sleazy.
It's like I see that person's username. That looks like a very Jewish username. Well, nice to meet you. You cut the dick to rare, medium, asking for cookbook writing purposes. I don't know. I feel like it doesn't cook like that. Just based on the Armin Mewes case from 2004. It just gets rubbery. I don't think it's edible.
Really? Huh.
I thought he cooked the balls. God, I can't believe I answered that with a straight face. Like, I just like, I'm just being very factual about this. Like, just looking at the evidence. I shouldn't know that. That's a disgusting thing to know. Anybody in the chat, if you've ever cooked a dick and I'm wrong, please feel free to correct me.
Actually, is Jonathan here? Because Jonathan cooked deer dick, and said it was too tough and fed it to his dog. Legitimately. Fucking weird, I know. But if anybody sees Jonathan, we'll ask him what dick tastes like.
All right, sounds good. Sounds like a plan.
And yeah, I don't think he cooked it. I just think he ate raw balls, but we'll see in a minute here.
Well, that's balls and dick are different.
Yeah.
Let's find out. Like, maybe this guy will tell us. Maybe he has more to say.
Someone called Joe. Yeah.
Yeah, good logic. You might know.
Yeah. What you're saying is beef jerky. I think that's how Jonathan explained it. So. They said testicle and other body parts. So, yeah.
I mean, I can't speak from personal experience, but
oh, damn. All right.
It has a black and gray handle.
Okay. Is it a fixed blade?
Fixed.
So it doesn't move. It's not.
No.
Like that.
Latunski describes killing bacon as if he is talking about an interesting yet messy science project.
Exactly.
There's no attempt to hide his actions, and every indication that he thinks this was a perfectly normal thing to do.
He's proud of it.
Something like, remember the movie Rambo? You ever see Rambo? Or it's about that big with a handle and a big blade.
The blade is only about that long.
Oh, okay.
Is it serrated or smooth?
Smooth. It was smooth blade.
And it's in your bedroom.
It's in my
In
bedroom.
a dresser drawer.
In a dresser, and I think it's there. Yeah.
Told you he was legit. Yeah, exactly. Damn. This guy's not playing around.
Been hearing your stomach growling and stuff?
I didn't hear growling.
Okay. Let me back you up, and I'll get into all of it. So you meet this person on Grindr on Christmas Eve, which is the 24th.
Well, that was when that's the first time I physically met
So
him.
let me back up then, yeah.
And we had we had
It's a skirt. That's gotta be a skirt.
Oh,
It's pleated.
pleated. Wow. And the pleats are ironed so nicely as well.
I mean, he's
Really crisp.
I mean, if I was gay, maybe not with all the murder and ball eating, but like I could see it. Like he's
got nice legs. He's built pretty, you know.
He seems to be well put together. Like,
And the boots kind of go with the outfit. You know, I mean, I'm not saying I'd wear it. It's a little Daria, kind of. It reminds me of like Daria Morgendorffer. It's like similar. I'm kind of into it. I'm not gonna lie. It's better than the button down with the leather skirt. I like this better.
yeah.
It's a cute interrogation fit for sure. Like, look back. What you wear to your interrogation, what you wear to, you know, cut up a guy and eat him. I mean, you know.
Yeah. Those are different. No, they're not fucking shorts. We went through this last time. This is a skirt. And now we have the fashion expert, Chandler, who's telling us that it's a skirt, I think.
It doesn't I mean, it would be culottes at best, and like I don't think those are culottes. That looks like a skirt to me. The drape it's a skirt, I'm sure.
That's exactly what I said.
What a moment. I was waiting for this.
You know, talked for, he actually known and had talked with the guy who I was living with for, you know, in the past as well. So, you know, I mean, however it works. So you two physically meet the first time after the agreement for you wanted that to happen. So you meet him Christmas Eve. Do you know about what time it was that you met him? And it doesn't have to be exact. 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 9 o'clock?
No, I really don't know.
Okay.
because,
Was it daylight or was it dark?
it was right near dusk.
Okay. So
Oh,
maybe in the parking
no.
lot.
I mean, at that time,
Oh, light
Um,
rain.
and again, however it was,
No comment.
but time, it was a matter of, I was in town, I was running some errands with some stuff, and that he sent me a message that just said, you know what, I'm ready. Where do you want to meet?
Okay.
And I said, hey, it doesn't matter to me.
So you-
Where do you want to work? Where?
So he arrives in his vehicle, you arrive in your vehicle,
Mm-hmm.
you have the gray Hyundai van,
Yep.
you have items laid out in the back of the van,
Mm-hmm.
and then he gets out and he sees the items, he decides what he's going to put on or what he's going to wear.
He
made those decisions.
He made all of those decisions
So
of
that
what exactly what pieces of what was there he wanted, and based on, like I said, it was full. There were some things that went back into the bag, and some things that he put on, and some things he says, well, you know what, maybe I'll try those later, but let's not start with that. I says, look, you need to put these on. I says, I'm not gonna force you to put, I'm not gonna force you to do anything.
Right.
This is you.
Okay.
And
so he puts the stuff on, you lock up his car to make sure all of his
that everything is secure so that nobody's gonna come in and steal anything.
Right, because I understand. So then you drive to your house, you get back to the house, and you guys go inside. When you get home to the house, is it just you two?
It's just us two.
Okay.
Wow. Bro, this detective doesn't give a shit about the clothing choice. He cares more about the murder.
I see some weird stuff, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean.
Well, this is also Genesee County, so it's Flint, Michigan.
Right.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Okay.
I have no idea. I like I said, and even it's kind of hard to.
This is perfect time for this banner. Nothing we say constitutes advice in any way. We're for jokes and entertainment only. So if you're using it to pick up gay men, JSDs, we didn't give you that idea. Okay?
Y'all are responsible for your own thoughts and choices.
Absolutely. But, I mean, if they're into that, then yeah. I've had venison testicle. It didn't taste like anything, but I wasn't told it was a testicle. Okay.
Short horror stories.
Maybe the detective is really into the fashion aspect. Maybe. I mean,
possible.
he doesn't look terribly like he's a fashionista, though.
No, I mean he seems to just be wearing like the standard. Is he plain clothes? I can't tell. I can't really see what the detective is wearing.
Yeah, for some reason they have him like his badge and stuff blurred out, his little square. I don't know.
So we don't know what he's wearing. He could be like cosplaying as some anime character for all we know.
Hell, he could be naked, and this could just be another one of his grinder hookups. We don't know. Like, what is
doubt
truth?
But you never know.
The victim mocked his skirt, so he killed him. God damn it, KLI.
Wow.
Oh, that was bad.
Next level. I think I need a shot for that. Jesus.
Oh.
To gauge
time in something like that because time just kind of takes its own toll. And like I said, after the over, and it was like, okay, I took you to this point. It's like, did I accomplish it? I said, what was your brain telling you? Was it real? Was it not real?
Some information has been censored from the video, so it's a little hard to tell exactly what Latunski did at this time. There still doesn't seem to be an understandable motive for the murder.
What portion? He says, you know what? You really made me.
See, and this is censored out by the department.
We're missing like 20% of the story.
You really, really, and that was after the illusion of that portion was done. And it was at that point he says, okay, I'm ready. Okay, so after the took place, did it take place upstairs in your bedroom or downstairs where he is right now? It was all downstairs. Okay, so nothing sexual happened upstairs? No. Between you two? No, only down in that room? Oh, yes. Yes. I mean, there was an initial, there was an initial portion up in the kitchen. But yeah, it was kitchen, and then downstairs, and then, and that's okay. That was all there. In that basement. Now
It seems like through context and the parts that are missing that they're explaining the actual sexual encounter. Is that kind of where you're?
I kind of gathered the same, yeah.
Okay, and I don't know why you would censor it, but the department did. So, motive. How about? Yes, exactly.
I don't know if I've ever seen an interview quite like this with pieces censored. I'm a little confused by that, but
yeah, and again, this was censored by the department. This one was a cleaner video. This video from this guy that does these interrogations was a little cleaner because he obviously took the time to upscale it and all that stuff. But this was directly censored from the department when I was first reviewing it. So
strange. Well, you're working with the best thing that you were able to find. So
right.
You just got to fill in the blanks or ignore it or whatever.
Yeah. So my question is, obviously the sex was great. I mean, that goes without saying, right?
It's a good question. Maybe it was just too pornographic for them to air that. Maybe they had to censor it because it was
too explicit.
Possibly too explicit.
Yeah. But yeah, and also I think this guy, given a little bit more time, and if he would have got away with like 4 more of these, would have been an excellent cult leader. Like, he has that kind of demeanor, right?
He does. He has sort of like an eerie cadence to his voice. It's unnerving.
Yeah.
And I feel like he has this sense of impunity that he could just kind of move through life and continuously, eat people's genitals and just get away with it.
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, like, he hid the bodies, but he doesn't seem to want to hide the bodies. So I don't know.
Right. It is strange. As a FOIA request to censor it is strange. Yes, exactly. And Barbara knows a little bit about this case and this as well, because she heard about it prior to watching this. And there's a lot of things that are censored in this particular. So Yeah, it's weird. I've never seen one like that. So I dream to have a cult one day, Jacob. That's what I'm currently working on. So
Well, everybody on YouTube kind of wants that, right? Like your own cult following.
I mean, that's basically what this is. Yeah. I have
The
a
cult
great
of
cult.
Mercada, you got the cult of Emily D. Baker. You know, everybody has a cult, especially all
Yeah.
the law tubers definitely have a cult. So I can get into that.
Yeah. So
The Mighty Meat cult, I like it.
yeah. I'm a spin-off of the Mercada Cinematic Universe, the RCU. So
Unbreaded is just keto style.
All right, I'm gonna do some more.
After, let me see, because he was in the
Well, that's the best kind of cult. Was a mentally unstable cult.
it was after he was deceased that the
See, so he did have sex with him after he was dead. So touche on your business shit.
Interesting tie-in.
and I knew that I wanted to have him, you know, and I'm gonna say,
Although, can I just say something real quick?
Yeah, what's up?
Okay, so you stab some guy in the face, you cut off his dick and balls, eat them. Are you really going to go, necrophilia is just a little too far for me? I mean...
No, I mean...
Does he have limits? Does he have boundaries? I don't think so. I'm not very surprised at that information, so that's all.
No, I mean, I'm not either. I think it's one of those things where you don't see the other person as a human. I don't. I think it's just an object. You can't see the other person as a human and slit their throat, cut off their genitals, and have sex with their deceased corpse like that. It's just not possible in my brain. Like, you can't see them as a person. So.
Although there was that weird part where he was like, "Well, I didn't want to hurt him. I knew it would hurt him if I did this." But then he goes like the extra mile and he does all those things. I mean, it's peculiar. Would be a very tame way of putting it.
Yeah, he's definitely if nothing else, he's interesting. So
he's an intriguing character, that's for sure. Especially like the fashion choices. He's quirky, I guess.
I want to talk to him so bad. He's like an hour from me, so
could do an interesting interview with this guy.
I would fucking love to. I'm trying to work on it. I don't really know the first step, but I would love to. That would be awesome. So at 9 p.m. Good Logic is over with Nick Ricada. How the fuck it's spelled? Oh, okay. It's after 9. What 9? What time? Chandler made that sound kinky and fulfilling at the same time.
Did I? If so, it was entirely unintentional, but I'm glad you enjoyed it, JSDs.
A+.
You know, if the audience is happy, I'm happy. If Chad is happy, I'm happy.
AP, it's hole in the heartbeat. Heartbeat's optional.
I thought it was any hole is a goal. I guess.
I've never heard that one. That one's great too. I don't know if that's.
I think Jacob Castro is still professing his love for Taylor Business. Hence the meat stick at the end there. We saw that in the previous message, or he, you know. I could be wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong.
Well, he usually puts like the strong arm and then the meat for me. So
am I reading the hieroglyphics correctly? Like we get Corn Pope in the chat all the time, and Corn Pope speaks like exclusively in emojis, and I don't understand any of it. But I feel like I've gotten good at reading it, so tell me if I'm right.
I know it is sleazy. And I'll have your little. Never mind. I'm not going there. Any port in a storm. Yep. Yeah. See,
That's a good
there
one.
we go. That's mine right there. That's me. So, all right, keep going.
I don't know what the right word is for it, is that as soon as he was at the point of being unconscious, and I was it was after he,
Down, AP. Down. Bad AP.
that was when it was like, uh-oh, I need to make sure that this is quick and not drawn out.
That's right.
And so it was then that it's like, okay, let's get this so that he
Quicker?
I was trying to speed it up at that point because he was already unconscious.
Okay.
But I could tell, because, I mean, you could tell he was, in any case, it was the realization of this wasn't enough, and that was when, I hoisted and got all of that set up and had to apply.
Shit, something just crossed my mind. Maybe it's the ritualistic part, and they don't want that shit getting out. Like, so there's not a copycat or some kind of cult formation from it. Maybe that's what he's talking about that they're censoring.
It honestly might just be too graphic.
Okay.
I don't know. There are certain. I feel like there have to be certain laws as far as victims' rights and family rights, and it's possible the family objected to certain aspects of the video being aired, but I don't really know. I would guess that might be a part of it.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense then.
That's my best guess.
Because the family doesn't want to talk about him being,
Well, it's graphic. It's traumatizing. It's all that kind of thing.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's an interesting. I would love to. I'm gonna try these. Like, I'm gonna try and work that out. I think it would be incredible.
Something else that comes to mind is I feel like most perpetrators of violent crimes like this are not as forthcoming in their initial police interview, and they're not going to lay out all of the gruesome details. This is a very violent case, unusually so. It's unusually graphic in nature, and you usually don't get people just coming in and spilling the whole thing like this. It doesn't really happen. You have to, I've watched a number of police interrogations, and it takes a while to eke out those kinds of details. Usually those people are concerned with, not getting charged, not getting sentenced. So this is unusual for a reason, because people don't usually just say like, oh yeah, I did this with his balls and I did that. It's just not common. So
yeah. So maybe uncharted territory. Like they don't know exactly what to do with it. That kind of deal too. So
and possibly like some family requests, because there are victims' rights laws in every state. So that might be part of it. I'll look that up, see if I can find something.
Gotcha. Okay. I love how Barb is still talking about just cooking dinner like this.
What are we having for dinner, everybody?
Wine sauce. I don't know. That makes sense. No need to live out the violence perpetrated to your loved one. Yep.
Yeah.
The weight had broken.
I feel like I'm his groupie, but without butt stuff and eating people. We both know you're into all of it.
But once he was clearly deceased, then I was like, okay, let's get him up as much as I could, so that one, what blood there was that was in the sand could go out into the flower bed.
Sure.
And that way.
Latunski walks the detectives through Bacon's final moments, and they try to gain insight into his thought process.
You
Latunski
can't. This guy's
doesn't
insane.
seem to have any anger toward Bacon or any standard motive to kill, such as revenge, love, or financial gain.
Yeah, in law they often use this. Would a reasonable person do
You
this?
guys are down there.
Right. This is
not
not
a
a
reasonable
reasonable person.
Where you
Right.
keep saying here, so you're pointing here. Okay, so you're pointing right at the hairline.
I didn't eat because the first time was so graphic. I didn't want to. Yeah.
When you do this, is he on the ground? There was a chair down there. Was he sitting in a chair?
No, the chair was not in there at the time. I put the chair in after when I was trying to get.
And then the worst part is like I want to start talking, but then I know as soon as I start, they'll come back. So he's talking about getting the chair up.
To take the horse chestnut, or not the horse chestnut, the chestnuts, and plunk them in the same way, so they would be growing. Now, and go through some of that. Look, we're gonna make sure that this becomes something that's out. And we in any case, so it was the after portion of cleaning him up. What I didn't get to yet was to wash him up, clean him up, and I started to pull the sand out that was there to start to clean it up, but it was a matter of it takes a little bit of time to. Depending if you ever process deer,
Sure.
It's
Let the blood drain out.
it's the same process, and it's just a matter of saying how do you do it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the first one went in here. You realize he's still alive.
Mm-hmm. And one thing that was when I just reached down, because he is laying. And
Is he face down or face up?
he is, well, he actually, when we were talking, we were just laying on the ground side by side, and he was face up. And then when after we talked about all of the different options of how do we do this, that was when he.
Oh, I almost forgot. He's
That's
like,
and that's where, so he was, I'm going to say, on his stomach,
Okay.
face towards the east,
Okay.
and that
With his head down by like the dirt area.
with his head facing that east wall.
No, I know, but I mean, like if this is the head of his body, this is his feet.
He was on the wood.
He was on the wood.
He was-
Is this the area where that dirt is at?
Yeah, there's the dirt area.
Yeah. So he's like that.
Right.
This is his head.
Right, because.
You want to draw a picture? Maybe that would. Here, I'll pull it this way from.
shit.
That way we have a much better idea of what they're
Yeah.
talking about.
Because you've got a rectangular room, okay? You've got the door here with the St. Andrew's cross on it, okay? And then the end of the area is here, so it's dirt here, and he was laying this way with his head here, and he was facing that direction.
Where's the door that you walk into the room?
The door is here.
Okay, that's what I thought.
And so, he was laying here, and I was here.
Okay.
At the point that we did it, and then in order to get him.
Who said loin fire? Oh God. No.
It was after he
was here, he was already dead. So he died here.
If you want to learn what successful
God
real
damn
estate
it.
investors do to make a lot of money every month without buying,
Oh my god.
Getting it up, and had to pull off the sling that was, and that's the chains that are hanging on each side. Right. That's the sling and where that all was. And so it was there. Then it was.
Did you do this by yourself? You didn't have help?
I did it all by myself, and that's
Wow.
why he was the. Getting him basically.
What, do you remember what day that was? Because you said that you met initially on the 24th.
24. So
When did this part all take place?
it was.
Was it the same night or the next day or? So Christmas was Wednesday.
Well.
The 25th was on Wednesday.
It would have been it was during that evening. And then after he was, and I don't know, it's just flat out fact, is that after he was dead.
When asked to describe the room, Latunski is more than willing to draw them a layout of the scene.
He's
There's no
just so
hesitance on his
forthcoming.
part to give them answers, no matter how gruesome they might be.
Yeah, I agree with you that he's like really proud of his work, which is sickening.
Started to do what I told him I was going to do. I was going to eat part of him, and I did. It was the new moon, and honoring my word to what I said I would do. That was when
I'm kind of glad that they're censoring these parts a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm not squeamish. I do not get,
that was,
but
just
this one is a bad one.
This is pretty horrific, yeah.
Yeah.
I look at it and I say, if that's.
Was that his wishes? Is that the main reason why he did it?
It was the discussion, like wherever, whatever is consumable is consumable. So I said, I will eat you, and he says,
Jesus Christ.
Okay.
So this happened sometime the night of the 20th.
Well, it's kind of like, so there are some things in our lives that we have that are kind of taboo topics, and there are other things that aren't. Like I freely and openly talk about a lot of topics that would make a lot of people blush or squeamish or uncomfortable. I don't really have a ton of filter, but even this guy freaks me out. Like we did a whole special on incest. Like it doesn't bother me. Like I've done things like this. I was a federal law enforcement officer prior to this. Retired from there because I didn't want to do it anymore.
So you've been desensitized in a professional context.
Exactly. And even this guy's creeping me out a little bit.
Well, he's really creepy.
Yeah.
And just this insistence that that the other guy was cool with it. Like he chained up 2 guys who escaped from his basement previously.
Right.
Tell me that he finally found somebody who was into it. Like, no, I'm not buying that.
This wasn't,
I mean, he's forthcoming, but he's telling things that, he's telling a version of events that is suitable to him for whatever his purposes are. I don't think that his purposes are to not get him locked up. His purposes are to brag and to tell the story in the way that, he gets off to, I guess. Yeah, he's disturbing. I think like maybe like Albert Fish might be creepier. But yeah, no, I mean, I've read about a lot of cases like this just because I've had a fascination with crime since I was maybe 13 or so. And this guy takes the cake. I've never seen an interview like this.
Yeah, and that's why I had to jump on this, because it's super interesting, flew kind of under the radar, and yeah, he just has that feel about him, and it could very well be that he is literally getting off on this conversation right now. Like this could be the enjoyable part for him. Like, I know that's been said, and some of them, they like talking about it because it relives it for him, and then they go back through it again. So
I mean, he's not hesitant. He is,
Right.
his desire to relive his crime is so much greater than his desire to remain a free man. And
Right.
that should tell you everything you need to know. He is absolutely committed to his depravity.
Yeah, he's
Proud of it, 100%.
Absolutely.
What a fucking creep. Oh God,
Yep.
Jesus.
Speaking of creep, JSDs, he was hungry after all the butt stuff. Don't judge him. We do judge him. We do.
I'm
judge
sorry,
him.
but anybody can download Uber Eats, DoorDash, Seamless. I don't know what they. There's no excuses. You can get Italian. You can get Thai. You can get Vietnamese if you want. Just, dude, come on. Let your date go home in one piece.
Right. And we all know if you're hosting a kick-ass orgy, you're supposed to have a passing dish. You're supposed to bring food, and it's supposed to be, like a potluck afterwards. We all know this. Like that's just normal. So.
Well, it seems like he was more into the solo encounter, but
Yeah.
Shame. Naughty.
You'll figure I have conversations like he's describing all the time, but no, never went all the way. Maybe I just lucked out. Maybe. It takes eating ass to a whole another level.
You guys are bad.
But they're my chat. They're my group of degenerates, and
Heard he was into Thai. TIE. That's clever, Sleazy. That's pretty good.
No, that's why he had to procure his own, sir.
About it.
Hors d'oeuvres. Cannibal Dash. So cannibalism is interesting, and we're not doing that one right now because I want to get to a little bit more of this.
Are we not doing cannibalism? I thought we were doing cannibalism.
Well, we are, but that's a huge discussion. So I've been trying to keep streams at 2 hours because they do better, and if not, I'll drone on for fucking 12. So
Donner Dash, like the Donner Party. That might be a little.
yeah, we could do that. So yeah, I've been trying to keep streams at like 2 hours. So gives me more content, gives less stream time. So because I was getting nuts. Like I was doing like 8-hour streams every night, and that just got too much. So
it's self-limiting is good, I think.
Yeah. Having boundaries like this guy doesn't. So
yes, precisely. We don't want to be like him.
Right. Donner Dash. Yeah.
Yes, this is a Goofus and Gallant scenario where you don't want to be like Goofus.
So let's try. Yeah, we got like 10 minutes. Let's try and get like 3 more minutes of this interview in.
Yeah, I want to see if he stands up, see if it's really short.
Oh, sorry.
It
Yeah, me
was
too.
the night of the 24th into the 25th.
Okay. So then at what point, how long after that did you take those upstairs?
That was, it was before I went to bed. Because at that point, I stayed with them for quite a while. And that was very important. I says, you will not die alone. I says, I won't.
That to me, as an outsider looking in, that shows me the type of person you are.
I said, I won't do that.
Absolutely.
I said,
you're a man of your word.
Regardless of what it is, I won't let you die alone.
Yeah.
And
that's very standout of you. Not a lot of people would do that.
How the fuck can you? I commend this officer.
Oh,
It's a job.
You know, well,
You would know.
I've met so many people, and
only
even
8-4.
the guy that I spent Christmas with, because I went over and spent Christmas with a guy from Lansing, a guy from, gosh, where is he from? I think the Bay City area, and then in Flint, and we laid down, and he was a healthcare worker who worked in nursing homes, and you know Joel joined us because we didn't have anyone to spend Christmas with.
Who's us?
Not at your house? Not at my house. I had actually gone because the water went bad in my house, and some other things happened. I call him his legal name, but when a bunch of stuff started happening that made the living conditions there not very good, and he couldn't stay out of the water. The water was flowing arsenic. I said,
Things were piling up,
drink
some would say.
We took the water to a doctor. The doctor says, don't even bathe in it. He says, I have to go to work. I have to bathe in this stuff. And so when he started to get sick, I took him to the doctor. I showed him the stuff that was going on. And then I helped him get an apartment of his own, so that he wasn't in that mess while I was trying to get it fixed back up and make it livable again. Anyway, so
Jesus Christ.
just because, I mean, I put up the Christmas tree, I put up the decorations.
That's nice.
You know, I was living there and you know, trying to hold it together while, you know, trying to fix the reasons of why it was in the condition that it was in. You know, it's trashed by Home Depot.
Yeah,
I can't do anything about that. But
they're stopping some of the graphic parts, so this should be a little bit better.
Latunski gives a strange account of the living arrangements, and it is hard to figure out how he went from being concerned and caring for a partner to murdering a random stranger.
I can relate to that.
Let's get you into a place that isn't a mess.
Well, if we can go, and I don't mean to interrupt, I just was going to go back to, so if you don't mind, I was just curious of.
Oh.
How did you do that? Did you cook them? Did you? Where did you do that? I mean,
on the kitchen stove.
Like with a frying pan.
It was
the inflection in his voice, like, where would you cook human flesh? On the kitchen stove? Like, where else?
Holy shit! I missed that the first time around. He actually fucking cooked them. I thought he's just like, oh, here's a bite. He like, oh my god, that takes us to a whole nother level. Like, fuck me.
Yeah, that's
wow.
Yeah.
Like, he was in this to win this. Sorry, Isabel, I just directly lied to you. You come in and he's immediately cooking flesh. Wow. Okay, sorry. I was taken back.
You don't hear that every day.
No. And then it's so matter of fact, like,
just the way he said on the stove.
Right.
But the way the question at the end, like, on the stove, like, where else would I cook human flesh? In the microwave? Like, that would, oh my god, I can't.
That would dry it out. What the hell's wrong with you?
It'd be too rubbery. Oh, Jesus.
Wow.
Is the detective going to ask how he seasoned him? Because if so, I'm
I'm out too if that happens. We'll end that right there.
Boy.
But I was just running through it double speed listening to it to prep it or whatever.
Big yikes.
You only half pay attention. So
Kaiser, did he at least spice the meat properly? He's a white guy. Of course he didn't season the meat. What are you talking about?
Shots fired. I think possession is semi-real. People who think possession is real might end up shared psychosis.
How did we get to talking about this?
I don't know. I don't know that I fully understand that, Isabel.
Like
but
folia do? Like, not sure. You guys get into some interesting conversations while we're talking about this kind of stuff. I feel like this is why Jeff has a doggo cam.
Yeah, I think so.
Something cute to look at while, the most horrific things imaginable are being described by a man in a kilt with braids in his hair.
It's a skirt, damn it. Do you have recommendations? Because I think Deez and Jacob would like to know.
Is that going to publish a cookbook?
See, right there. When you interview him, make sure to ask for some of his recipes.
There was a guy who did that.
Holy shit!
There was a cannibal who had a recipe book, and it was like little kid pot pie, and he was big time pedophile. It was pretty gross.
Wow.
I can't remember his name. Israel something. Dude, how the fuck's so calm about it?
Yeah,
because you have to match their disposition, right? I mean, you'd know.
Yeah. For one, it's definitely hell trying to do this. I commend the shit out of these officers. And these are probably detectives. Two, they're in Flint, Michigan. They're in the Flint, Michigan district. So it's Shiawassee County. So it would be Flint and surrounding areas. They've seen some shit. And three, to get what you need, the only thing that's going through these gentlemen's minds is this guy needs to go to prison for the entirety of his life. There's not a chance in hell he gets out of this. And I think we'll cut it off at there, because then we'll backtrack and listen to that again. So to start next week. But yeah, you have to be in a way where the only thing on your mind is you have to make this fucker go to prison for the rest of his life. And to do that, you have to desensitize yourself. I hate to say disassociate, because then it gets to a is that a psychological condition? Blah 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 blah.
Separate yourself, sort of it's a job.
Yeah, you separate what's going on in front of you, because it's the only way to stay sane doing so.
Because you have an objective. You're you're a tool, basically.
Yeah. And you separate your life from this crazy psycho, and the only focus is we have to get him to say this set of things so that he never sees the light of day again. And that's just what police officers do. That's why I often defend them, even though I know a lot of them there are a lot of bad apples in the profession, but a lot of people have to deal with shit like this, and it's tough. Trust me. Kaiser just said he was going to kill me and put me on his smoker. He puts tough meat. I'm tough meat, so he has to be talking about me. Who knows he didn't? Oh damn, you got some pushback on the white comment there, Chandler.
Oh yeah, that's the thing about being a former liberal is sometimes some of the liberal jokes stick in your brain and they're not funny, and then you tell them and you forget your audience. So sorry guys.
No.
I'm reformed. I'm a reformed liberal, so I still have stuff. Don't mind me. Just ignore.
Oh man, in Wayne County. So,
It's the name of a really good punk band.
really? Huh.
Yeah, Wayne County.
Wayne County is Detroit. Wayne County is the jail that we process people at. I've had, because that was my duty station, because we have Canada right here. And I've had people beg me to take them to prison over Wayne County Jail. It's one of the worst places on the fucking face of the earth. It's a terrible, terrible place. Downtown Detroit, Michigan. It's a bad place.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I've been watching this show called Jail. It's like a reality show, and I think they filmed it like 2007 and 2014. And it's just, you see like intakes, processing, different prisoners, and oh boy, it's different based on the different jails you go to. But Wayne County, I don't know if they showed Wayne County. It sounds terrible.
Well, if they do, it's hell on earth. So, you don't believe in hell? It's a terrible place then.
I mean, I understand the concept. It's not difficult to grasp.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, I'm trying this new thing where I keep shit around 2 hours. So, I'm reluctantly gonna probably end it here or pretty close to here, so my producers don't stab me and cook me. But shit happens. So, I thank you very much for joining me. I hope you had fun, and I'm talking to you, Chandler, specifically.
Oh, yeah,
I'll talk to Chat later.
I had a great time. It's okay. I'm really sorry for this in advance. It's possible I bit off more than I could chew. It's definitely a really rough case. It's really, but you know what? I'll probably be back next week because I'm a glutton for punishment. So.
Well, you are always welcome back, but never feel obligated. I appreciate it.
Oh God, I'm so sorry for the bad dad cannibal jokes, you guys. I just, but that's what came to mind, and I like to be authentic, so that includes terrible jokes from time to time. It's been real. I can say that it's been real.
Yeah. It's he's an interesting fellow, and I really hope that I can interview him. Like I said, he's not terribly far from my present location, so it would be reasonably doable. Depending on the prison system. But so yeah, chat, that's your next installment of this crazy fucker, Mike Lutunski.
I loved it. I'll be back next week. That was great.
Chat will never be the same again after experiencing this chat.
Oh, no, chat was fine. I just well, I have a migraine, and so you get a little nausea with migraines, and so stuff like this, I'm a little sensitive to, but normally I have a really strong stomach, so no worries whatsoever. I've had a great time. Chat has been amazingly funny, ruthless, and I love your chat sense of humor. You guys are great.
Yeah, they're a good group. So, do you want to show anything real quick, or your channel? I don't have your channel linked. Mods, do you have her channel link, or?
Well, I can grift real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
You guys. So I'm brand new to YouTube. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I've been streaming since January 31st, and I love making stream appearances like this one. But I'm trying to put out my own content, and so I have some stuff coming up with Sarah Boone this week. That should be pretty fun. I'm going to be doing something with Solomon Anderson. We're going to be doing a live stream. And then I'm going to be talking about systemic misandry in a global sense. So look forward to that. Go follow me at Remy, REMY_legal, or just look me up, Chandler Remington. I'm right there. Go follow me. Subscribe to me. I'm also on Twitter under the same handle.
Yeah, go give her a sub. She's doing great work, and she's on a lot of the YouTubers' channels. I've enjoyed hanging out with her. She's an awesome person and pretty cool. So. Oh,
thank you. You're a lot of fun. I love coming on your channel. You're really real, and you have a wicked sense of humor. So I would appreciate that. Yeah. I never joined Discord. Like, you guys have the Discord, and I never ended up joining. So if you send me a link, I'd love to join. But this has been a lot of fun and totally nauseating, but fascinating.
Shit. Yeah, I'll send you one. Belandris, if you're still in, I'll just ask him after.
Yeah, don't worry about it. It'll keep, you know.
Yeah, I'll send you one. So, for sure.
All right.
Next
Good
channel
stream.
live stream is going to be fire. All right, y'all. Well, thank you so much for stopping by. Hope you had fun.
Thanks for having me.
Tomorrow is nuclear bombs. We're going to go over building nuclear bombs, my playground.
Nice.
So, see you guys tomorrow, 8:30, and have a good night.